Grayson Chrisley gives confession. Savannah having kids. Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another video. I hope everyone's having a great day. Before watching the video, please subscribe and like it. Grayson Chrisley has given a confession about Savannah Chrisley having kids. This is something he has thought about for his sister. However, what he had to say shocked everyone, including Savannah. The two are close after she had to raise him and Chloe. So he knows her probably more than anyone else right now. There is a lot to unfold and uncover. Keep reading to find out more about this situation. Savannah Chrisley raised kids, even though not hers. Savannah Chrisley did have children to raise. When Todd and Julie Chrisley were sent to prison, she took custody of her younger siblings, Grayson and Chloe. This was a big step for her, as she had never raised kids before. However, she did a great job, and everyone has applauded her for stepping up. This is something no child expects to have to do. However, Savannah stepped up in a lot of ways that are harder than people think. She did have a boyfriend during this time, Robert Shiver. However, the two ended their relationship, and she has not spoken much about it since. Fans thought this may have been the one she could have settled down with. Grayson Chrisley gives shocking confession about her having kids. Grayson Chrisley has given a shocking confession about Savannah Chrisley having her own kids. He started off by saying he would not be shocked if she did not want kids after raising her siblings. He also thinks she is wondering how it would be to have kids that were actually hers, not her siblings. However, if she does have kids, this is how he thinks it will go down. No, I think you'll get married and then have kids, but I think you'll get married because you're having kids. Savannah loved his comment. However, Grayson told her that he has faith in her and obviously thinks she would be a good mother. It seems as though Grayson has two different sides that he could see. Either Savannah is going to be fine with not having kids because she had to raise her siblings, or she is going to have her own kids because it will be different. Regardless, Grayson thinks that she will get married and then have kids, but only because she is having kids. The Chrisley family has lived much of its life in the public eye, from the years of reality television on Chrisley Knows Best to the highly publicized trials of Todd and Julie Chrisley and their eventual imprisonment to the countless interviews and podcast appearances made by Savannah Chrisley in an effort to keep her family's story alive. Now yet another twist in the ongoing saga is stirring headlines as Grayson Chrisley, the youngest son of Todd and Julie, has opened up in a rare confession about his own struggles and feelings, while his sister Savannah makes waves with bold comments about her plans to have children and build a future even as the family navigates its most difficult season yet. The combination of these two storylines has ignited intense conversation among fans who have followed the Chrisleys since their early days on television and who remain fascinated by how the younger generation is handling the aftermath of their parents' downfall. Grayson Chrisley's confession marks one of the few times the usually reserved teenager has spoken candidly about his experience and emotions. Long portrayed as the lighthearted youngest child on the family's USA Network reality series, Grayson grew up in front of cameras and became a fan favorite for his innocence and wit. But behind the scenes, the reality of growing up in a family under constant scrutiny took a toll. In his recent comments, he admitted that the weight of seeing his parents sent to prison combined with the pressure of expectations from the public left him battling feelings he had never anticipated. He described moments of anger, confusion, and loneliness, confessing that for a long time he tried to hide his emotions because he did not want to appear weak or burden his older siblings, who had taken on new responsibilities. His words shed light on the unseen costs of reality television fame and the devastating impact of legal scandals on children who never asked to be thrust into the spotlight. For fans who had always seen Grayson as the fun-loving kid of the family, his confession struck a chord. Many reached out on social media to express support, noting how difficult it must have been for him to grow up watching his family celebrated and then suddenly vilified. His comments also highlighted the resilience required of the Chrisley children as they continue to adjust to life without their parents at home. Savannah, in particular, has often spoken about how she now feels like a mother to both Grayson and her younger niece Chloe, a role she took on after Todd and Julie were sent away. Grayson's confession adds depth to that dynamic, showing how much he has relied on Savannah, but also how much pressure it has put on him to adapt and mature faster than most kids his age. As Grayson was opening up, Savannah was making headlines of her own with revelations about her personal life and her plans to one day have children. Since stepping into the role of caregiver for Grayson and Chloe, Savannah has repeatedly said that family is her #1 priority. But she has also hinted that she is thinking about what it would mean to expand her own family. On her podcast Unlocked, she recently discussed her feelings about motherhood, marriage, and the future with surprising honesty. She admitted that while she has always dreamed of being a mother, her current circumstances have complicated those dreams. Raising her brother and niece while balancing a career and advocating for her parents has left her exhausted and uncertain about when the right time would be. Yet she made it clear that she does see children in her future and that her desire to become a mom has only been strengthened by the bond she has formed with Chloe and the responsibility she has taken on. Savannah's comments were widely shared and debated among her fans, many of whom praised her for being transparent about the challenges of raising children in her situation. Some argued that she has already proven herself to be a capable and loving caregiver, pointing to the way she has fiercely defended Chloe and provided stability for Grayson. Others questioned whether it is wise for her to consider having more children until her parents are released and her life is less chaotic. Regardless of where people stand, the conversation reflects the ongoing fascination with Savannah as a young woman forced to balance extraordinary responsibilities at an age when most are just beginning to figure out adulthood. The dual narratives of Grayson's confession and Savannah's motherhood plans also illustrate the broader theme of how the Chrisley children are redefining their identities in the wake of their parents' downfall. With Todd and Julie once serving as the charismatic leaders of the family, the spotlight has shifted to Savannah and her siblings to carry the torch. For Savannah, this has meant taking control of the family's public image through her podcast and television appearances. For Grayson, it has meant finding his voice in a world where he is no longer shielded by his parents, but expected to handle adult-level stress and attention. Their willingness to speak openly about their experiences suggests a new era of transparency in the family's journey, one in which the children are not simply reacting to headlines but shaping them. In many ways, the Chrisley saga has become a story about resilience, family bonds, and survival under extreme public pressure. The legal battles, financial woes, and prison sentences could have shattered the family beyond repair. Yet the younger generation has managed to keep the family name in the news while reframing the narrative. Grayson's honesty about his struggles makes clear that the costs of fame and scandal are real and often painful. Savannah's determination to talk about having kids even as she shoulders immense responsibility speaks to her desire to carve out a future defined by hope rather than despair. Together, their stories resonate with audiences who see not just celebrity drama, but a reflection of the challenges many families face when unexpected crises change the course of their lives. For now, what fans see is a brother and sister navigating adulthood under circumstances few could imagine. One is bravely confessing the pain of growing up under scrutiny and losing the safety of his parents at a pivotal age. The other is openly wrestling with the question of how to create a future of her own while carrying the burdens of her family. Their journeys are reminders that even behind the glitz of reality television and the chaos of scandal, there are real people trying to make sense of their lives and carve out paths of resilience. And as long as the Chrisleys are willing to share their stories, the world will continue to listen, debate, and watch closely as the next chapter unfolds. What do you think about this? Do you think he is right? Sound off in the comments below. We would love to hear your thoughts on this situation. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, America Trends 24, and stay with us.